Welcome to the Homeschool Paradigm Podcast. I'm Angela, and since school is starting, I've noticed a lot of things online, questions that moms are asking, and they're really good questions. I totally get it. But I thought I would read one, not quite word for word. It's an anonymous post on a public group, so I think it's okay if I mostly read it and then you get the idea of what the question is. And these types of questions come up a lot, especially at the beginning of the homeschool year. So this mom is wanting to know what we do when our kids intentionally do the wrong thing after they've been told what to do. So the example here is that the mom made a nice worksheet for the 5-year-old, and the 5-year-old scribbled all over it and didn't do what they were supposed to do on the worksheet. And then the mom says that the kid is 100% capable of doing it, but she likes to push boundaries and just doesn't like to work. And then she's saying it's frustrating because she knows that if her kid was in school and a teacher asked to do it, she would try her absolute best. So I feel for this mom. I do. But the next thing she says is, that she's spending a lot of time working on fun stuff for the kid, but the kid enjoys messing it up. So she wants to know what to do, and she doesn't want to make her kid dislike working even more. So I am not in any way, trying to pick on anyone that feels like this. But here's the thing. Do we really think our 5-year-old is going through whatever mental steps it would take to actually intentionally do the wrong thing after being told how to do the worksheet? In the way that it sounds like. What thought process would that require? So again, I'm not making fun of this mom in any way, but I thought I would take the thoughts of the mom and go through it as if it were thoughts the 5-year-old were having. So she's kind of feeling like, this is how my kid feels about it. She wants to mess it up or whatever. So I'm going to just go through those as if it were true. So the kid would have to decide, I don't want to cooperate with mom by filling out this worksheet correctly. What can I do to really bug her? I know I can do it and she knows I can do it, but I want to push the boundary right now and see what happens. Working on this writing my name business is just really something I don't like to do. So I think I'll scribble all over the page and just write circles all over the lines. If a teacher in school were to ask me to do this, I would certainly cooperate, but I really enjoy messing up the work my mom puts into making this pretty page for me to learn to write my name. I wonder what my mom will do about this. Okay, so obviously, do you hear how absurd that sounds? I mean, I know I was sounding sarcastic, but really, these are not the thoughts that our 5-year-old kids are having or any kid is having. So what I think happens so many times here is that we as moms have an adult brain, so we try to assign the same motives and thoughts to our little kids as we would have. I mean, and it makes sense because that's how our brains are, and so we just, we kind of automatically figure that's how everybody thinks. But kids don't. If an adult were to scribble all over a worksheet instead of filling it in correctly, we would probably think the things the mom is thinking here, right? They're intentionally doing it wrong. They're 100% capable. They just want to mess up the work I do. And yeah, probably so if it were another adult. But this is a 5-year-old child. I can just about guarantee they are doing none of those things. Actually, I think we could go a step further if an adult did that, and we would actually wonder what's wrong, wouldn't we? If we had an adult doing that, we'd be like, whoa, what's wrong with you? But I don't think we give that same consideration to our kids. So we just figure they're trying to mess it all up and not think, whoa, something must be wrong, like we would think about an adult. What's the motivation behind it? We would be more curious about it if it were an adult than we are about our kids, and I think that's backwards, actually. So what's wrong with that? I would think that we should acknowledge more of an emotional motivation and wonder what's going on with a 5-year-old than we would with an adult, right? Because the adult has a developed brain and can set aside. Sometimes we as adults have to set aside our emotions and just do the thing, right? And our kids do too. I am not saying in any way that our kids don't have to do the thing, but we need to help them work through that stuff. We can't just expect them to set it aside. Their brains are super not developed. Okay, so the kids just, all they know is that they feel a certain way, and we just have to help them work through it. So I love that this mom wants some help knowing what to do about it. That tells me that on some level, she probably knows that the reason behind the behavior is not sinister. If she really thought it was true, the kid just wanted to mess up all her hard work, she would just discipline them. She wouldn't be asking people what to do. So I truly think that no one believes that their little kids are actually coming up with all these motives and turning against their moms because they want to mess up the hard work or not show that they know how to do something. In my experience, 5-year-olds love to show what they know how to do. So no, there must be some emotional underlying reason. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. Like I'm tired or hungry, or maybe the kid had a little fight with its brother or something. So what I would do is put the worksheet aside, pretending it never happened, just with no emotion. Then I just do something physical and fun, cheerfully move on to the next thing. And then later, when the kid's just hanging out or having a snack or something, just ask them if they have any idea what they were feeling like when they scribbled all over the page. Like, what is it that's bugging you? Sometimes when we just ask what's going on, they can at least give us a clue or think about something in a different way. Maybe say something surprising to the kid. Like when my oldest was about 5, he would want something at the store that I wasn't going to buy him. And I would ask him if he brought any money with him. And he was like, oh, kind of surprised that I'm asking. Did you bring any money with you to buy that thing? He would say no, and that would be that. So this also taught him to bring the money with him in the future if he thought he was going to want something. So killing 2 birds with 1 stone, it stopped the begging and it helped teach him the reality of buying things. You have to have money. So please stop saying your kids are doing things like this on purpose or that they enjoy messing up the work you put into homeschooling. That is not what's happening. It just can't be. So in our Homeschool Paradigm membership this month, we're working on reframing our thoughts about our kids and talking about this fundamental attribution error, which is when we assign behaviors to a character trait or character flaw instead of the situation that's going on. So this mom has a 5-year-old that scribbled all over their worksheet, and suddenly the kid likes to mess up the mom's work. I mean, I really doubt that, and I'm sure that the mom doubts that too. So maybe, like I said, maybe they were hungry or grumpy from something that happened before, or maybe they just wanted to go play but now they had to sit down and write something, and they were disappointed because of that. So before you get crazy, I'm not saying, like I said, that they should be allowed to do whatever they want. I'm just talking about the mom's thoughts. So this has to be the first focus. Those things could just be the reality of what's going on with the kid, like they're hungry or whatever. But the mom's thoughts are what's going on with her. So what she does with the realization that the kid just wanted to be allowed to finish playing or needs a longer transition period, that's all up to her. What I'm talking about here is just that it's not evil on the part of the little kid, and that we as moms need to do dig a little deeper than the story that our brains are handing us. So the very first thing that every mom needs to do when they start feeling or thinking these things about their kids is just slow down and notice what those thoughts are. Noticing our thoughts as the mom is the perfect place to start. We need to pay attention to what we're thinking about our kids and then ask ourselves if we could be wrong. We are wrong a whole lot because of that fundamental attribution error that humans do. We just do it to other people all the time, and it's like automatic, and then we need to slow that down and be intentional about what we're thinking. So our brains are always trying to save our lives and thinking there's an emergency, even when there's not. So slow it down. Ask yourself if the thoughts you're having are actually reasonable. Like, is it really reasonable to say that my kid likes to mess up all my hard work? That would be a pretty big relationship issue. And I just don't think 5-year-olds are going that deep and being like, I am going to mess up the work that my mom does. So ask yourself if the thoughts are reasonable. Don't blame your kids for being human and having feelings that don't have anything to do with you or trying to bug you or mess up your plans. Then ask your kids how they're feeling and if they can tell you what makes them scribble instead of writing or whatever it is. They might surprise you and be able to actually just tell you. Then that gives you something to work on. It's a lot better than, the answers from strangers. And even I've never met you, but I do know that when I had this kind of problem, when I slowed down my brain and settled my thoughts about my kid, because they were usually just reactions and not actually true thoughts, then I could get to the heart of what it was. And we could be on the same team. And being on the same team when you homeschool is going to be what causes success, not the pushing and pulling and stress and forcing. So slow down your thoughts. Ask yourself if they're reasonable. Take a breath. Your kid is not trying to mess up your plans. Thanks for listening.